2-minute warning.
What's good, folks? Welcome to the latest edition of the Terrible Towel post-game show. I am your host, SimFBallCritic, live from the virtual Heinz Field, aka the Steel Basement. Oh boy, lot to talk about today. Let me give you guys a reminder. Phone number is on screen, but this is not the show for phone calls. Phone calls will be available on Tuesday, but I have the number there just so you can jot it down for you newcomers. Definitely come hang out with us on Tuesday, Terrible Towel Tuesday, which is the flagship show of the channel. And that's when I will hear you guys' opinions. Tonight, I will give you my knee-jerk reactions, and I will read the comments, and share some of you guys' thoughts. And then we're out of here. But on Tuesday is the more extended show. And boy, let's get to it. First and foremost, let me say hello to the early commenters. We always got to do that. So I'm going to say hello to Jay Waller, Zuwami M, Jordan Mid, King Ross, Q, Dwayne Williams, Captain Spartan 04, Rel Fax, what up, Rel? Steven Carpenter, good brother Kenyon, what up, Kenyon? Of course, we've already talked during the game. Big Dro, Hunter Johnson, GDF. That's a new one. I don't know if I've seen you before, so welcome. And if you have been here before and I missed you, my bad. Lou Calistine, Jack Bauer. He said Ben needs to retire tonight. I got some thoughts about Ben, guys, so stick around. Mike Adams. We'll read a few more. Miss Lanisha, how you doing, Miss Lanisha? Hope you're having a wonderful day. As best as you can, right? I still is lost, but, either way, hope your day has been lovely. Build his life. Vista Light. Matt loves the Most High. Amen to that. JJ Waller. Who else? Let me get one more. Marcus Jones. And here's Cody. Cody, Shadow Slayer, Maurice Ware, and we'll end it right about there. Steelers Spartan as well. All right. Let's get to it. Y'all know how I do. First and foremost, I go through first series of both offense and defense. Now, I will honestly tell you guys that I actually missed the first two games. First two plays of the first series, and here's the reason why. You guys know I have IPTV. If some of you guys know what that is, it's like, streaming style of cable, and I get all the NFL channels, yada, 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 pay small amount per month, whatever, right? But with that, sometimes you have to deal with things not being on the channel that you expected. I thought that the Cincinnati Bengals versus the Steelers was on my end, which is called NFL Channel 4. It showed them, but for whatever reason, it was showing the Jacksonville game. So it's almost like they showed that game twice. So I went through all of the NFL channels, couldn't find our game. So then I ended up searching the local channels, and I found a local CBS channel, I believe, in Ohio, which was showing the game. But by the time I saw it, I saw that Ben Roethlisberger was taking a deep shot on 3rd and 6 to James Washington. We all know that they didn't convert that, so the Steelers went 3 and out. So I did write this here. Steelers go 3 and out on the first possession. They go deep on 3rd and 6 to James Washington. And I wrote here, looks like, again, Ben Roethlisberger, we're pushing it downfield on 3rd and short. Did not see 1st and 2nd down, so I don't know if we got a rush for 4. I don't know if we got a rush for 4 yards. I don't know if it was a quick pass or something. So anyway, that doesn't have that big a bearing on what happened in the game. But needless to say, we went 3 and out. There you have it. So not a whole lot to report there. First defensive series, I put here the Bengals also go 3 and out. The Steelers get a good pressure on 3rd and 8, and they force a 3rd and 18. I think there was a hold, and Trey Norwood was able to make the tackle on 3rd down to cause them to punt the ball away. So now, where I go from here is I talk about key in-game injuries to just keep an eye on, and we'll see. You know, haven't heard Tomlin's presser or anything like that. Haven't heard the team, the players talk after the game. None of that. So I'm going to give you that, and then I'm going to go through my key moments, as I was taking notes, possession for possession. Some things I didn't copy down, but y'all know how I do. And then we'll talk about my key takeaways from the game, and then, of course, we'll get into what you guys have to say. So in-game injuries to keep an eye on. Juju Smith-Schuster goes down early in the game, did not return. Claypool kept going in and out of the game. He did continue to return, but let's keep an eye on that. I think the commentator said that it may have been cramps, but again, let's just keep an eye, just see if it's anything else. Kendrick Green goes down in the fourth quarter, did not return after going down. On that following series, he still was out of the game, and it's going to be interesting. I'm going to watch that series just to see how Hassenauer looked, just to see how he looked in lieu of Kendrick Green. And then also Chooks. Chooks goes down in the third quarter. Joe Haig comes in. Joe Haig gave up a pressure later in that game. So we really don't want Joe Haig to be a pass blocker. I know a lot of you guys have said he might be better in the run game, and we'll talk about that. But there you have it. So those are the four injuries. And maybe I'm missing somebody, but those are the four guys that just keep an eye on just to see what it is. And there you have it. All right, here's another thing. Well, no, I'll put this. Actually, I'm going to copy and paste it right here while you guys are here with me. I'm going to put this in my takeaways because this is definitely a huge part. I don't want to get into this yet. Give me a second so I can go over that with my takeaways. All right, copy and paste. Bear with me, guys. It's live. Y'all know how we do. And I'm going to paste it down in this section. All right, so let's get to it. Here are my key moments as I was typing. Second possession of the game. Najee rips off 11-yard run, but it gets called back for holding. Kendrick Green holding on that play. But again, I took note of that. I even texted Kenya and I said, hey, take note of that. Najee ripped off a pretty sizable run. It was successful, but it was a holding. I'm going to go back and look at that play when I get a chance to look at film to see how the O-line looked, because that's going to be one of my gripes about the O-line is their run blocking. We'll get to it. Claypool gets called for offensive PI on that drive. I think it was a very bad call. Trent Green shared in that. The commentators both said the same thing. I think that was a bad call, but it is what it is, what you're going to do about it. And then there was a drop by Claypool on 2nd and 23. And again, nothing happened for us on that particular drive. The next thing I notated, Edmonds gets a pick on Joe Burrow, Minkah Fitzpatrick. And I want to definitely highlight this because I've continued to hear a lot of you guys say Minkah's not doing anything. Y'all remember that? Minkah ain't doing nothing. That's what I keep hearing people say. And I know you kind of qualify his performance based on interceptions. That's what people do. It's just like other positions, like a pass rusher, you only think they're doing good if they get a sack. Excuse me. And it's the same thing in any position. If guys are not doing what you expect, then you think they're not doing well. Minkah Fitzpatrick last week, we know what happened with the rug situation. Again, I think it was more of, in my opinion, from what I saw, I think it was more or less the game plan. Taking Waller away, you look at Waller, Derek Carr did a great job with doing a quick pump to get you to freeze, and then he's able to hit Ruggs on the back end. And Minkah, and again, I got to give him credit for almost getting back there, even after looking inside. It is what it is, guys. That's football. It happens. So I wasn't as down on Minkah as some of you guys were after that situation. I didn't understand that. But anyway, I wanted to give Minkah credit on his interception because he was the one who got the PBU. Ball pops up. Terrell Edmonds is basically playing center fielder, comes down with it. Great. Good job, Steelers. That's what we didn't do against the Raiders. We didn't cause any turnovers. So here's a turnover. Great, right? Well, right after that, Ben Roethlisberger gets hit doing a pump fake, and he was picked off by Hubbard. I said, Ben appears to be hurt. Let's keep an eye on his right arm. I didn't put him in the injuries, but let's keep an eye on that. He was favoring the right arm a little bit. And then I put Steelers give up 15 On a 3rd and 8, Joe Hayden got beat on that play. Boyd was able to break a tackle of Ingram. Ingram coming in and just trying to use his body and power to make the tackle instead of wrapping up. And Boyd is able to get a score. So that's how the Bengals go up 7-0. Now, I want to talk a little bit about Ben Roethlisberger's pump fake. Do you guys remember? And I text Kenyon and Tony during the game. And Leonard, father-in-law Leonard actually came over to my house to watch the game. I look at Leonard and I said, didn't y'all just hear me say that Ben Roethlisberger pump fake is going to get us in trouble at some point? Didn't I say that? I wasn't discrediting his pump fake. It's been legendary. It's been legendary, and that's just what he does. But what did I say? I said specifically now, at this stage of his career, because he can't move like he once could, didn't I just say, I might have even said it on Tuesday, yo, that pump fake is going to get us in trouble at some point. And lo and behold, it shows up right after us getting an interception. With some momentum, we give it right back. Ben pumps. Hubbard continues to fight on the pass rush, hits him, ball pops up, and it's picked off. And like I said, they score a touchdown right after that. So they were able to take their turnover and turn it into points. We took our turnover and turned it into a turnover. Play on words right there, I know. Okay, let's keep it moving. Bengals are called for a PI on 3rd and 11 by the Steelers. That was huge at that moment. And then Ben was able to scramble for a first down on a sprint out. Definitely don't want to see that happen much more, but listen, he did what he had to do at that moment, but you really don't want to see Ben on the move like that. Steelers unable to convert a 3rd and 6. Ben throws the ball to Claypool. Claypool wasn't looking for it. Remember that one? Nobody's looking. The ball just kind of sails behind him, and the Bengals sent a blitz on that particular drive. Let's go to the next thing I notated here. Mixon rips off a run of 29 yards, gashed us right up the middle. And I put here the Steelers are able to force a 3-and-out after that. Schobert was able to tackle Burrow as Burrow was trying to scramble. The Steelers went man. Must have been good coverage. So Burrow was trying to, leak up the middle, sneak out, run through the middle, which a lot of quarterbacks do in man because guys' backs are turned. Schobert able to make I guess you could say a first down saving play. Steelers get off the field. And I thought it was important right there that the Steelers defense stood firm and stood tall after giving up a 29-yard rush, because things like that are killers, backbreakers to your defense. A lot of times when a big play happens, then teams sometimes are able to pile on another big play behind that, or they're able to gain some consistency or get you on your heels, after a big-time run like that. So I thought it was very important to acknowledge Steelers defense stood firm after that, and they went 3-and-out after giving up that 29-yard run. I thought that was huge by the defense. And right after that, I said here, the next drive, Ben takes a sack on play action. I felt like Ben was holding the ball a little too long on that particular play. Dotson was called for holding. Najee comes back and rips off a big run. Canada calls a shovel pass to Derek Watt. And I'm notated here that was definitely some influence by Canada, because I don't recall ever seeing that previously. So I thought it was a cute wrinkle. Okay, because we heard about this. We heard about this in training camp. We didn't see it. We didn't see it in preseason, but remember, people were reporting that. I recall Alex Kazor reporting, seeing some attempts to get Derek Watt the ball. And remember in his interviews, remember all that talk about getting him more featured? That was a very interesting call, because they had put Najee in the slot, and Derek Watt was in the backfield, and they threw a shovel to him. That's a decent little wrinkle right there. Didn't go for much, but again, it's just, continuing to throw different looks out there, I think, is what's going to allow the offense to open at some point if we can improve. Emphasis on if. I know it's week 3, so I'm not in panic mode, but I'm a little less confident about what I usually say about waiting until week 6 or 7. I'm not sure what we're going to see at week 7. Hopefully it turns around, but I'll get to it in a minute. And I also notated after that Ben finds Najee out of the backfield for a big 18-yard run, pickup as far as reception, down to the 5-yard line, and then Ben was able to find Freiermuth on an inside pass for the touchdown. Now, I wanted to put my notes down for a second and highlight what I just said about that pass. We used to only see that inside pass, like that little quick shovel, if you will, to Juju. Y'all remember that? We used to run it a lot. Even remember the time that we ran it and it wasn't there in Jacksonville and Ben tucked it and ran it in himself? We've been running that primarily to Juju. So here's where the wrinkle comes into play. We saw it. I think we saw Juju run it early this year in one of those games. I can't remember. But anyway, now we're able to run that to Derek Watt and able to run it to Freiermuth. So those are the little things. I know sometimes people will say the offense looks the same, and it primarily does, and I'll talk about that too in a moment. But those are those little wrinkles that Matt Canada is bringing to the situation. We saw a couple times in the game where we lined up tight and then we shift everybody pretty much at, right before the snap. Those are those little things that you're starting to see from Matt Canada that's showing you that he's starting to put an imprint on the offense. But we'll get to it as far as why you think it might still look the same a little bit. But those little wrinkles right there. So at this point, man, great. 7-7. The offense is struggling a little bit, but you're able to put a decent drive together. You feature Najee. You feature Freiermuth, so the rookies, making big-time plays for you. You tie it up. Okay, so wait for this. Bengals come right down and score right before the half. Mind you, at that point, it was 1 minute and 4 seconds on the clock. So I'm thinking at this point, okay, defense is hanging in there, right? Defense is hanging in there. If we can get to the half tied up, okay, it's 0-0 again. Maybe we can get ourselves together. You got momentum going into the half. Well, what happens? Bengals come right down and score right before the half. Ingram was called for a bogus, let me say it again, bogus roughing the passer. That was ridiculous. And I loved even when my guy, what's his name? I forget the dude's name, the retired ref that now is in the, what's his name? How do you say his last name? Sestator, something like that. Gene something. I can't remember how to say his last name, but y'all know who I'm talking about. Even when he gave his analysis on it, he pointed out that actually Ingram's shoulder was what hit Joe Burrow. So even if the refs were thinking it was a blow to the head, it actually was not. So even if you're going to say, okay, he wasn't late, it was just a shot around the neck and head area. No, it wasn't. His shoulder influenced that. That was completely a bad call. Bogus call. Right after that. So what happens after that? Then, again, Jamar Chase beats Pierre for a 34-yard touchdown. Now, let's acknowledge this. Great throw by Burrow. Absolutely. Phenomenal throw by Burrow. Good separation by Jamar Chase. Right at the end of the route. Right at the end, like as he's going into the end zone, he separates, like he accelerated. And he got Pierre. Now let me stay right there for a moment. A lot of you guys that are watching this show, y'all got all on me. Oh, y'all gave me the work. Y'all gave me the business when I was saying early on before the season that I was a little concerned about our cornerbacks. Not that I didn't have confidence in what looks like an emerging cornerback, and I'm still not down on James Pierre. But these are the things I'm talking about. This is your first time out. You're going to go through these lumps, right? Even the best of the best cornerbacks get beat. But this is why I kept telling y'all I'm concerned. We don't have a veteran group back there. And our only veteran, Joe Hayden, has lost a step. I've been telling y'all that since last year, have I not? Now, Joe Hayden had a great season last year, but do you guys not recall? Listen, I don't usually say stuff and act like I said it if I didn't say it, right? I recall saying this to you guys, remember? Yo, man, Joe Hayden is playing good, but he still just can't. How many times have y'all heard me say he can't run? And he's just not what he used to be. So Joe Hayden gave up a couple catches in this game, man. You know, he gave up a couple. So with him being your veteran, and then you got all these young guys, you got to worry about it. And it was relatively decent coverage by Pierre, but again, Chase able to separate right at the end, man, and it was an outstanding throw on ball. But this is what I was saying, guys. Well, while a lot of y'all, not everybody, but a good amount of people in the chat kept telling me, nah, man, you can't be so down on him. I'm confident. Okay, this is what I'm saying. Sometimes experience goes a long way. Now, once I watch the tape, I will really get to see what Pierre did in that instance. You know, having seen it in real time, I don't remember if he was playing press. I don't. I just know it was man. You know, it got a one-on-one situation, and Jamar Chase is one heck of an athlete, right? And he might have just got the best of Pierre. But I just want to remind people, when you hear me say stuff like I'm concerned, it's not because I'm down on a player. It's realistic concern. Because guys are young, or because they're unproven. None of us really knew what James Pierre was going to be and what he's going to be. We don't know. I think he's representing himself fairly decent. We'll see how he plays continuing down the line. You know, it's only 3 weeks of action. But I'm just saying, this is why I was saying that. Anyway, so right after that, what do I have here? Okay, that was halftime. So, all right, second half. The Bengals come out, and they able to run the ball down our throat, bro. I mean, listen, this is why I got to rewatch the game, and I might even rewatch it tonight, you know, the condensed version. Bruh, I want to see what formations we were in, because, again, in real time, you can't always, I can see it, but I'm not always paying attention. Well, let me not say it like that. I'm always paying attention, but I got to go back and really see who the personnel was we in nickel, things like that. But at the end of the day, Cincinnati's zone blocking in the run game was killing us. Most of the time, Mixon was just cutting back against the grain, killing us. And, you know, the guy coming scraping down the line, whether it was Jameer Jones or Tuska, that guy was unable to make the tackle all the time, you know, coming down the line. You know, TJ is good at that. Unable to make that tackle, and it springs Joe Mixon, and he's killing it. They killed us coming out of the half with the run game. I mean, they was popping run after run after run. Steelers fortunate enough to hold them to a field goal at that point. It ends up being 17-7 Bengals. Right after that, Najee Harris dropped a quick pass on 2nd and 4. You know, it looks like he didn't get his head turned around fast enough, but he drops the pass. Ben throws another pick to Wilson, number 55 of the Cincinnati Bengals. Now, let me pause right there. Fam, I don't know what Ben was doing right there. I wish I could explain it. I don't know what he was looking at. I don't know. I don't. I mean, he literally, he basically handed it off to him. The guy's right there. What are you looking at? Is it a predetermined read? I don't think so, because Ben is trying to create space in the pocket, moving around, but the dude right there. Ben throws an interception. And I notated here, literally threw it right to him. Barrow able to find Chase again for second touchdown. On that particular play, there was zero pass rush. And what I noticed was what I said in the pregame. On that particular play, I'm going to go back and watch it to make sure I'm correct. Cam Hayward was an outside rusher, along with Ingram, and I think Bugs might have been in the middle, and it might have been Wormley. I got to go back and look at it. But remember I said that there may be situations where we try to get Cam Hayward on the outside to help out. And on that play, Joe Burrow had probably upwards of 6 to 7 seconds, it seemed. And Jamar Chase able to beat Joe Hayden or shake away from Joe Hayden in the end zone. And again, when you get that much time, guys, you can't expect a cornerback or any secondary player to cover for that long. But it was like an easy pitch and catch. No pass rush whatsoever on that particular play. And that's the second touchdown. Right after that, I put here, big pickup on a catch and run by Najee Harris. Ben misses to Freiermuth and to Claypool on that following possession. And then Boswell misses the kick. And that missed kick was huge. Was definitely huge because it affected a decision by Tomlin later in the game, which I know people are going to kill him for it. But I will explain that too. Let's keep it moving. Steelers are backed up on their own end zone. Ben finds Claypool on a 3rd and 11. Ben finds Ray McCloud for 24 yards. Ray fumbles shortly after that, but able to regain possession. Claypool draws a PI on Eli Apple, and then there were penalties. Penalties on Claypool, penalties on Dan Moore. Back the Steelers up all the way out to almost the 20. And then the Steelers have to settle for a field goal. It was the right decision at that time to make it a 14-point game. Let me explain that. At that time, it was about 8 minutes on the clock. Let me explain to you guys whether you agree or disagree, but from a football standpoint, this is why Tomlin had to kick the field goal there. Score was 24-7. It's like 8 minutes on the clock, I think. Yeah, it might have been, about 8 minutes if I remember correctly. You have to get it to a 2-possession game. Now, if Boswell makes the field goal previously, and at that point, then maybe you say, nah, you got to go for the touchdown there. But since he missed that field goal, that was a missed opportunity to shorten the score. So this time you have to at least get it to a 2-possession game, because if you don't convert on that 4th down, right, to get into the end zone, which, mind you, was there any confidence? Let's be honest with ourselves. Do you have any confidence at that point that that offense is going to score on 4th and goal? No. So you've got to take those points there. You make it a 2-possession game. Again, people are going to get on Tomlin for that, for not going for it. Even the fans was booing. I get it. Because, you're going to think back to last week on the 4th and 1. But at this particular juncture, that was the right decision, points-wise, mathematically-wise. And if you can't see that and you disagree, fine. You disagree. Like I told you guys, I'm not getting into those arguments no more about Tom. People are either going to hate him or love him. I'm just only going to talk about the football decisions when I agree with him, when I disagree. This was a time where I fully agreed with taking the field goal at that point, because Boswell had missed the previous field goal, which would have been our opportunity there, where we would have only been down 2 possessions. That would have given us the ability to attempt to go for it at that point. Because worst case scenario, if we didn't get it, they're backed up and it's a 2-possession game. But since Boswell missed it, now at that point we had to take the opportunity to get it to a 2-possession game. That's simple mathematics. All right. And again, fans, as bad as the offense looked, do any of y'all feel confident that we were going to score anyway on that 4th down? You don't. So I'm just saying. Let's keep it moving. Steelers defense are able to get a 3-and-out on the next possession. See, it turned out to be the right decision. Steelers get the ball back with a little more than 6 minutes on the clock. At that time, it was 24-10, so I just notated that. So right after that, Ebron drops the ball over the middle. Y'all remember that? One of the last drives of the game, he drops it right in his hand. Ebron had actually 2 drops in his game, if I remember correctly. Then Ben misses James Washington on the deep ball, guys. That was a touchdown, man. James Washington, and remember I told y'all on the pregame, he might not be the fastest guy, and they always said that. Him coming out, and even though he ran a 4.5, which is fast, it's just not a blazer, he always seems to find a way to get separation. James Washington is a deep threat. Ben got him wide open, and he overshoots him. And I know, I'm going to be fair to all quarterbacks when I say it is kind of tough from a critic standpoint to critique a deep ball, because sometimes quarterbacks are literally just throwing it up and allowing a guy to run under it. Quarterbacks have said, look, I just throw it as far as I can and let the guy run under it. But some of the more accurate guys hit that. Your Russell Wilson hits it seems like 70% of the time. Aaron Rodgers, Patrick Mahomes. I mean, so many guys seem to hit it when they need to, and Ben, he just missed, man. He just missed, but that was it. That right there changes the dynamic. Who knows if the outcome changes, but at that point, you are in the game. You are sure enough in the game. You hit Washington right there. He gets into the end zone. Now, you down by 7 with about 5 minutes and change on the clock. So, missed opportunity, man. Clearly a missed opportunity there. Let's see. What else do we have? Good people. So I said right after that, he's able to find Claypool down the field. And Claypool, again, goes out of the game at that point. Again, in and out of the game. I don't know what's happening, but he's in and out of the game. Kendrick Green also gets hurt play later. So we already talked about the injuries, but Kendrick Green goes down in the next play. Ben gets sacked in the red zone for the 4th sack of the day. And then Hubbard was able to beat Joe Haig, on that particular situation. I think he gives up a sack. Well, I just said he gave up a sack. And then again, Ben throws a quick out to Najee on 4th down, 4th and 10. And Bengals seem to trick Ben on a disguise. Y'all remember that play? Where it's 4th and 10, and we down there. It's like 4th and goal, or whatever it was, because I think it was 4th and 10, but we could only get a first down, like we had to get within the 1 yard line or something. So it's essentially 4th and goal. And at the snap, Ben turns and throws it to Najee. Clearly, he was fooled on that play. The Bengals drop out. Ben is thinking blitz. And that was just a great call. It was just a great call defensively. Ain't much you can do about that. But it just goes to show you that was a time that he got fooled. And that's up to the quarterback to read that. So it is what it is, man. But here's some other takeaways I got. The biggest hold on 1 second, guys. Give me a second. I gotta say something to my son. All right, my bad. He's making a lot of noise, him and his friends going outside or whatever. But anyway, my bad, y'all. So here's some key takeaways for the game, man. Ogunjobi was causing some problems in that game. There were a lot of drop balls in that game. And listen, let me say this. Let me say this before, let me give him his credit first. Najee Harris is a monster. Najee Harris is definitely going to be worthy of that first-round pick. I wish we could give Najee just a crease, because we saw it again in this game. He had a couple runs but then there were way more unsuccessful runs. But in the pass game, how vital was he in the pass game? I don't like always throwing it quick to him, because, he's a big boy, but I don't want him to take all of them hits. Right? So I'm going to give Najee his credit first. Najee had a pretty decent game, man, in terms of showing his abilities. I still don't have any problem with Najee. I'm sorry. Some of you disagree with the first, whatever. That's your opinion. This is mine. That is a generational talent, and I think we're starting to see it every time. But here's why I got to critique him in this game. Boy, what's wrong with your hands, Najee? And I know people going, get on him for the worst drop was right there, the very last drive, but then the game was over. But Najee, I got you down for 4 drops in this game. We're going to have to get you to do a little better than that. But like I said, I'm not going to beat him up, because Najee is mainly responsible for most of the touchdowns that we've seen so far this season. He's made a play on those drives, or he was the one to catch and run and get a touchdown, right? So either he's put us in position by making a play when we needed one, or he was the guy in, who was it against? The Raiders, I think it was. You check it down to him, he takes it in. Najee is going to be a extremely important factor to this offense. Again, like I said, I don't like Ben going to him so much. I don't know if the other receivers weren't getting open, but I don't like some of those 3-yard passes to him, because the defense corrals on him and all of that. But that dude is a freak, man. His strength, his just his little quick, subtle movement. Like, when he beat dude, he comes up to tackle him at like the 5-yard gain mark, right? He had about a 5-yard gain, and Najee shakes him like with not even a lot of effort, just a little quick nod inside and back out, and he's down the sideline. But we got to get them hands together, sir. These. I cannot come back on this show every week and talk about the drops that you had. So come on, Najee. I need you to get that together. But other than that, I think Najee's going to be a phenomenal running back for the Pittsburgh Steelers. You just wait and see. You just wait and see. Claypool had a drop or two. Ebron had 2 drops, I believe. And it's probably, I literally notated this, it's probably more than I can remember. There were a lot of drops. Can't do that. Here's another thing I notated. Let's keep an eye on Kobe White. Good to see him get a little burn. Good to see him get a couple catches in. Let's keep an eye on him, man, especially going into like next season. Let's see if the Steelers retain him and things like that, and just see what he might be able to be. Because I did like what he brought to the table in preseason and just things you were hearing about him. So let's just keep an eye on him as a sneaky receiver that we got tucked away in the practice squad. Ray McLeod came up with a nice catch later in the game. That was cool. But I'm still not all the way convinced about Ray as far as a receiver. No disrespect to him. I need to see more plays made like the one he made today. And then the last thing I got here, man, is the penalties. Penalties by the offense. Man, it was 4 offensive penalties in the first quarter. Then Dotson gets called for holding on, again, another nice run by Najee in the second quarter. Nice. You know what I mean? Just a nice run. Like I said, Najee is showing his worth, but there's these times, man, where we're getting called for penalties and things, and it's killing it. Interrupt myself for a moment to give a round of applause here for the donation. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. My man Shadow Slayer, he says, Sim, Eric Ebron is 85 to me. And for those of you guys that are new to the channel, when a guy is not producing, we kind of take his name away and he's just another guy. He's a Jag, right? And when you are a Jag, we're just going to address you as your number. So Shadow Slayer is saying he's now 85 to me. And you know what? Shadow Slayer? I'm going to jump into that boat with you. He's 85 to me right now because and again, it's week 3. I get it. Don't panic. Don't go crazy. It's a long season. However, he's already looking worse than we saw him do last year. At least last year. Remember, Ben was featuring him and things like that. He's already not looking that great. So yeah, okay, he's 85. He's 85. So there you have it. All right, let's keep it moving. What else did I have here? So I said Najee had another good run, and Dotson is called for holding. Ingram is called for a personal foul on Barrow, and again, I said that was iffy. That was iffy with 57 seconds on the clock, and I'm sure that aided to their touchdown. Not saying that he still wouldn't have hooked up with Chase, but 15 more yards added down the field. I'm sure it made it easier. Chooks called for a false start that backed the Steelers up against their own red zone. At this point, it was 6 offensive penalties. PI was called for Claypool, which I think that was iffy. But at that point, it was 7 offensive penalties. And then Dan Moore was called for a false start on the same drive. And at that point, 8 offensive penalties. Very sloppy football by that offensive line. Now, let's talk about the offensive line and Ben Roethlisberger. And I will have more to say on Tuesday after I've really dissected the film. Here's the funny thing about this offensive line. They seem to be better at pass pro than run blocking. Run blocking just seems to not be the strength at this moment. And strength is a great word to use because it just seems like some of these dudes are not getting no push. Again, when I watched the film from the Raiders game and, it wasn't as bad as I thought. It was usually a missed block here and there that, corrupted everything, if you will. But even if that is the case, then that's going to have to get corrected some kind of way. So I can't wait till I can really look at the film. And by the way, NFL, you lied. Okay, we saw a post from you on Wednesday saying that the film, all 22, should be restored on Friday. Well, Friday has come and gone. And as of now, The all 22 for week 2 is still not out there. So I'm on your head about that. You know what I mean? Because you are the reason, first of all, why I haven't shown all 22 footage live on show on Tuesdays, because you always want to get us for copywriting, right? And then on top of that, now we're paying for this service that you haven't offered in 2 weeks. So I'm on you about that. I'm going to keep tweeting you every day. This is despicable. Give me my money back or give me a free subscription to the international version that has all 22. How crazy is that? I know I'm going off on a tangent really quick, guys, but I might have to clip this and send it to them. How silly is it that the international version, which football is not an international sport, is working with the coach film, but the American version is not? Y'all missing me with that. I'm on you every day. I don't know who's going to see it, but I'm tweeting every day and putting you on blast until you do something about it. But anyway, here's the thing. Right now, it looks like they are better pass rushers, pass protectors than run game, blockers. I don't know what that is. Kevin Dotson, just at first glance, didn't have the best game today. He just didn't. There were quite a few times when I saw dudes already in the backfield. Like I said, Ogunjobi had a game. Kendrick Green, again, it looks like he struggles with power. I'm going to rewatch it. Like I said, by the time Tuesday comes, I will be able to have some numbers, because even if I don't have the 22, I'm just going to rewatch the game and focus on the O-line. But that is our biggest hurdle right now. It is. And yeah, Ben didn't have great protection, but there were times that Ben had protection, right? So they are more successful pass blocking than they are in the run game. And whatever bar you want to set for them, if you guys feel like they're not that great in the pass pro either, then that's the better of the two evils right now, which is interesting. But again, there was a play there. Remember the one play with Najee? There was a guy in the backfield when he got the ball, and he made a move, boom, quick 15-yard rush or so, 13-yard or something like that, gets called back. Like, Najee has been trying to create. But there are times, and you guys are seeing it, there's times that he has nowhere to go by the time he gets to the line of scrimmage. And we have got to get better at the point of attack. I know Adrian Clem is teaching tenacity and finish and all of that, but these guys, man, they got to find a way to get it done. And at the end of the day, I'm going to be brutally honest with us fans. They're a young offensive line, man. Maybe they just don't have it right now. Maybe they're not that good. We have to accept that. Because so I was telling my father-in-law, Leonard, just watching the game. I said, look, I understand all of your complaints. I feel you. I'm right there with you. But the truth of the matter is, these dudes are super young, right? Because, he made this comment. And again, this is a comment I see from a lot of people. So I'm not singling Leonard out. This is, a lot of times, this is the consensus by a lot of fans. They say, man, they didn't do anything with that offensive line. It's still the same. Can't say that. You cannot say that. The Steelers drafted 2 offensive linemen. Now, if they're the offensive linemen that you guys wanted or not, that's everybody's opinion is different as far as forecasting, yada, yada. But they drafted 2 offensive linemen. They brought in a free agent. So you cannot say they didn't do anything. David DeCastro gets released because of injury, right? You can't say they didn't do anything. It's just that the unit that they have right now is just not producing. And that's what it is. Some of it could be, I think some of it is technique. Some of it could be skill. Some of it could be chemistry. You got 2 rookies out there. So we might have to just go through these growing pains, fans. I know it's hard, but it might just be what it is, bro. Let me get a sip of water, and then I'm going to get into Ben. Absolutely, Afro Thunder, and I still feel that way. I won't know the identity. Me personally, other people can say they predicted early. Whether they predict us to be great or trash. Some people say they can see that in week 1, and if you can, great. I personally don't know my identity of the team until about week 6. I'll give it to week 7 this year because of the extra game. After that, I'll know. But I will say this. What I'm seeing so far, I'm less confident that they can get out of this. I'm not going to rule it out because it's early and it's week 3. You know, the Chiefs lost today. And Baltimore should have lost. How crazy was that? Just as a side note. Okay, my man sets the record for 66 yards, but dog, first of all, it's 4th and 19. I'm going to get back to that in a second. Shout outs to Captain Spartan, man, 499. I said 499, that's the donation, but Captain Spartan 04. Round of applause. Captain says, yes, that O-line is young, but you have to admit when they are simply isn't it. Okay, I think we missed some grammar there, but it's all good. He says, rather than keep shooting yourself in the foot and hoping they grow. I mean, again, Captain, that's how you see it. And this is all I'll be wanting people to understand when you hear me talk or someone else talk. We all have opinions. That's just how I feel. You're right to have that opinion. You understand what I'm saying? I'm not going to challenge that. That's how you feel. I feel like, I got to give them room to grow. And even if I get in line with what you're saying, you said they're young, but you have to admit they ain't. I don't know that after 3 games. I don't know if these rookies who are having trouble will never pan out. I can't say that after 3 games. That's just me. But I respect your opinion. And thank you again for the donation. What was I saying, guys? What was I saying? Somebody remind me. I got off. The Ravens. Dog. Me and Leonard switched to that game after the game was over. And the Ravens get backed up into a 4th and 19. And I turned to Leonard. I said, dog, all they got to do is keep everything in front of them. I said, Lamar can't scramble his way out of this one. Keep everything in front of you. Tackle the catch. They ain't got no timeouts. Or whatever the case was. Yeah, I don't think they had no timeouts at the moment. How do you give up a 4th and 19? A guy gets behind. So if that wasn't bad enough, Justin Tucker comes out and kicks a 66-yard field goal where it was on the money, but you can see it was running out of gas. Hits the crossbar and bounces up and flips in. Good. That's just crazy. That's just crazy. But I blame the Ravens defense, the Lions defense for giving up a 4th and 19 in that situation. You deserve to lose that game. I'm sorry. And credits to the Lions, though. Played them tough. So it is what it is. But yeah, the Chiefs lost today, man. And it's crazy. 1-10. I mean, what am I talking about? 1-2. 1-2. The Chiefs. Who would have thought? But, I have more confidence that the Chiefs might be able to rebound with their offense. But keep an eye on the Chiefs. The Chiefs defense, man, is weak. They are weak. Keep an eye on them. The offense might not be able to pull them out every time. But all right, back to us, man. Let's get to Ben Roethlisberger. It's hard for me to say what I'm about to say. Because you guys know the love that I have for him as the Steelers quarterback for the last 18 years. Again, Ben Roethlisberger is the only quarterback in my Steelers lifetime that allowed me to celebrate a championship twice and potentially celebrate a third. He's the only quarterback that has allowed that for me. Always going to have a place in my heart. I respect him for who he is and who he was as far as on the football field. He's a Hall of Famer in my book. No question about it. And even though last week I was saying, and I still believe this before I go further, I do still believe you can win football games with Ben. So don't get it twisted. But some of you guys may disagree with this, but I've got to put it out there. It's time. It's time. It's time for Ben to go, man. Ben is done. Let me explain to you why. And here's an interesting thing I saw earlier today. It was reported by Jason Lockenford. Rumor has it, and I say rumor, I don't know, but it's sources. Sources are saying that executives within the Steelers organization have been paying attention and watching film on Ben Roethlisberger, and they're at the conclusion that he looks old and not quite getting the job done, and they are kind of feeling that it's time to move on. Would not surprise me. But here's why I say this. Look, Ben can still make plays. Again, if we can start running the football, if we can get the run game going, I think you win with Ben Roethlisberger. Ben can do enough. Ben can make some throws here and there, right? He's still Ben Roethlisberger. He's just not Big Ben. He can't do what he used to. Even his pump fakes aren't as effective anymore because he can't move. If y'all are really watching, Ben can't move the way he used to be. The way he used to. He can't play Ben ball. It don't work as much no more. And that's just age and attrition, man. He's 39. Still a relatively young man for the earth, but that's old for football when you play his style of football. You see it, he can't move. Here's another thing. Some of his decisions. Think about when we already seen this year where he's halfway almost sacked and he just does a panic throw. Ben don't do that. He's not the same, man. He's just not. And here's another thing. Ben, sometimes you just got to get rid of the ball. Think about on that play. I can't remember which play it was specifically, but he kind of rolled out to the right, avoided some of the defense, circled back around, spun around like he was extending the play. He's way out of the pocket, and he eats the sack. Like, Ben, you smarter than that. As a veteran, you have free will to just throw it away. And that's what I'm saying. When it comes to those things and his lack of mobility and the fact that he can't be Big Ben anymore, shrugging off D tackles and D ends and move around, nimbly in the pocket, he's cooked. He's cooked. And let me just take a look, because I know at one point in the fourth quarter, I ain't even got to look. There was a point in the fourth quarter where I saw that he had thrown for, I'm going to look because I want to get accurate numbers. But there was a point where he had thrown for 49 times. He had thrown 49 times, but let me get the actual official count. Give me a second. I got to see what he finished up with, because I'm sure it was something crazy. Come on, NFL app. This app is tripping. Let's see. Ben Roethlisberger. Y'all ain't gonna believe this. Y'all ain't gonna believe this. Ben threw the ball 58 times. Man, let me put this down. Shout outs to C. Antoine Hill. Round of applause. Dr. Trey, I want to come right to your comment after I read C. Antoine Hills. He says, also, Sim, Canada can't run the offense at full capacity with Ben. That is a fact. That is a fact. Trey says he got rid of the ball on that fourth down play to Najee Harris and he dropped it. He did. But let me tell you how effective Najee was in this game. And don't use that one play to defend Ben. Listen, I'm not poo-pooing on Ben Roethlisberger. I'm just speaking what I consider to be facts from my eye test. Might not be facts in the real world, but my eye test is telling me he's just not the same anymore. Remember, I was defending him last week. And we'll still defend him when people say he's trash or we can't win with him. I just said too, we could still win games with Ben and even win in the playoffs. But the other pieces are going to have to be there. If we don't have a run game, like Ben ain't going to be able to win games no more. Just throwing the ball. It ain't going to happen. I'm just keeping it a buck. And all of us as fans should be able to see that. Najee Harris, man. Najee Harris had 14 receptions for 102 yards. And he probably should have had, by my count, 18 receptions. So, yeah, it's crazy. That's going to show up on the stat sheet. He had X amount of drops. Like I said earlier in the show, Najee, you got to fix that. But the dude caught 14 catches for 102 yards. So I get it, but we can't use that excuse to say, oh, he got rid of it on that fourth down. And the game was over at that point. Let's just be honest. But like I said, Najee still got to be held accountable for that. But guys, Ben just don't got it, man. He just don't have it the way he used to, and it's fair. I'm not beating Ben up. It's fair to say that the man is 39, man, and he's not Iron Ben anymore. He's just not. He can't move. He's literally a stationary target in the pocket right now. And without a run game, and you got Ben Roethlisberger passing the ball 58 times. Regardless of how we got to that point, people are going to say, yeah, Sim, but that's because we were down. I get it. I don't care what the circumstance is. I care about him having to pass 58 times. If Ben Roethlisberger is passing for 40 or more attempts, in my opinion, the Steelers lose. I don't care who we play. Now, maybe we could have some heroics again. If he hits James Washington on that play and we score and who knows what happens after that, I'm just saying the likelihood of the Steelers winning now when Ben Roethlisberger has to pass for 40 or more times is very small. It's likely not to happen, and it's likely not to play out well. Because when a pocket passer like him, that is now a statue, somewhat of a shell of himself, can still make plays, yes. Can he still win games? Sure he can. But when a guy of his stature, the way he plays with no mobility, if he's dropping back 40 or more times, pass rush is going to get home on him at this stage of his career. It's not likely the Steelers win a football game that way. You pass 58 times. You rush 14 times. It's not good. 15 times total because they gave Ben Roethlisberger the 5-yard rush. That's not a good ratio. So again, that's not me beating him up, but he can't do it. He's not that Ben no more. We can't win like that. And again, man, to end this segment, and I'll go to the chat. I don't know how we fix it. I don't know how we fix it because right now, let me go on the record and say this because people like to take my words out of context. I am not saying the season is over. I am not saying that. Some of y'all are. Season isn't over in week 3. It's not. Especially when you have a 17-game season. It's not over in week 3. Right? However, I'm not confident as I once was about the improvement of the offensive line. There's nothing really there right now. Maybe after I watch the tape, but as of now, there's nothing to make me feel like we're going to be better 3 to 4 weeks from now. I don't know yet, but I don't have the confidence. So if someone had to hold me to the fire right now and say, what do you think? I would say, I don't think they improved because I don't see any glimpses. However, to counter that, there have been these moments, like I said, where Najee has sprung runs. So the opportunities are there. It's just that there's way too many unsuccessful runs. Way too many. It's way too many times where guys either broke through the line of scrimmage or they meeting them at the line of scrimmage, right? I don't have the encouragement. Even, like I say, even Dotson. Dotson didn't play his best game today at first glance. I will reassess and come back to you guys on Tuesday. But right now, we're looking like a team that is better at pass protection than we are running the football. And that is not a good recipe for a win when you don't want your quarterback to pass the ball 40 or more times. Definitely not 58 times. And the reason why I say Ben is done is in terms of him being what he was. Ben can't play like he is known to play. He can't. Can't do it no more. It's already showing up. And that's what I mean when I say he's done. This is his last season. It definitely needs to be. And that because honestly, I fear that he gets hurt right now. He took a mean shot right here, right on the left side. Remember, that's where that pec injury is at. Took a mean shot in this game. And it's time to go, man. It's time. Like I said, for our offense to ever take a step, I think you need a different style QB and to preserve quality of life for him. And I'm being completely serious here. This needs to be your last season, Ben, because you can't play the way you are accustomed to playing anymore. You just can't. You're gonna get yourself killed. And he can't make those subtle movements to avoid the rush and things like that currently with an offensive line that's growing. That's the thing. He can't be at the mercy of an offensive line that's trying to grow. That's tough, man. Yeah, and shout outs, man, to 410 Carpenter. Round of applause for the donation. He says, rebuilding time might be the first lose of the season. Yeah, it's fair. That's fair. That's your opinion, Phil. Like I said, I'll let you have it. I refuse to have any debates about Mike Tomlin with people, and I have my reasons. I refuse it. It's just insane to me how some people are so high and so against. Like, it's very few people really break down everything. It's funny. I told Leonard during the game, I said, watch, people gonna blame Tomlin for not going for it on that fourth quarter. In the fourth quarter, there was 8 minutes left on the clock. They're gonna blame him for kicking that field goal. And again, whether you hate or love the coaching staff, that was the absolute right time to kick that field goal to make it a 2-possession game. You don't get into the end zone. Remember, it was fourth and goal. You don't get in the end zone there. And what evidence did we have to convince us that we're going to score? You don't get in the end zone there. Then what do you say when we're still sitting at 24-7? Just saying, man. But like I said, it is what it is. But like I said, I will not challenge people's opinions. I will let you have them, and you won't have to worry about me debating or arguing your opinion. I just won't. So, all right, guys, that's all I got, man. I'll stay on a little while longer and read some chats here, man. I will read some chat. Oh, I will say this before I get into the chat. Matt Canada. I know Matt Canada might be handcuffed a little bit because you got to remember what he said in the beginning of the season before the game, before week 1. He said that he would call plays that Ben Roethlisberger is comfortable with. That's number one. And remember, I came right on Terrible Towel Tuesday and said, ooh, that's a concern. Shouldn't have been a concern because we know Ben can't fully run a flushed out offense of Matt Canada. Real quick, let me interrupt myself to thank Reality Sucks for the donation. Round of applause. He says free agency, get an offensive line, yeah, then draft a quarterback. Yeah, first round. Yeah, we're definitely going to need a QB, man. Look, above that, I love what Leonard Green said there. He said, some in the chat would make terrible I'm telling you, man. That's why I've learned to just I just allow people to have their opinions because everybody thinks they know best from sitting on the couch. And it happens in any arena. Even for my gamers out there. You know, if you ever stream, if you're a streamer and people, like you're playing a sports game or say Madden or something, they always, oh man, you dumb. Why didn't you hit A? He's wide open. Everybody can see better than the one who's in the throws, right? It's always the ones who's sitting on the side that is perfect at everything. And that's why I just be like, look, man, opinions are opinions. You know, people don't make it to the NFL ranks and all of that stuff. Another donation here from Captain Spartan, man. Round of applause. He said, Ben needs 2,609 yards and 22 touchdowns to pass Phillip Rivers in some of all-time categories. When Ben gets those achievements, and he'll retire happy. Nah, Ben just needs to retire, man. He just needs to retire. He's going to get himself hurt if he stays out there. Jalen Brown, yeah, no calls today. So for you guys who haven't been here in a while, no calls on the post-game show. The post-game show is supposed to be short, but as you can see, I've been talking for an hour and 8 minutes now. The calls will be on Tuesday. So if anybody who wants to call in, vent, give their opinion, debate, disagree, do all of that on Tuesday. Terrible Towel Tuesday is your time to shine. But yeah, man, yeah, it's going to be a tough season, and I will say this. I think this season and even the first half of the season is going to really show who real fans are. And I say that, you know, I'm not even going to say with all due respect. I say that a matter of factly. It's going to show who real fans are. If you are a hardcore fan and you understand ebbs and flows, guys, we're going to have to go through this. We've been at the top of the division for a long time. The fall is coming. Maybe we get lucky and we're able to stay consistent. Maybe not. It just is what it is. I know I want us to win as much as everybody else does. But the fact of the matter is sometimes you just have to acknowledge what's happening. The teams around us have gotten better. They have younger quarterbacks. They have younger and newer franchise quarterbacks. It just is what it is. And they have other pieces. The Ravens have built a great culture. Cincinnati looks like they're starting to build something. I don't know if their culture is quite there yet, because I'm not sold on Cincinnati yet. They beat us today, yeah, but what is that? That doesn't mean much. The Browns look like they're developing something over there, for sure. They got talent. They got cohesion. They can run the ball. Their offensive line is elite. And we're just at the point where it's time to reconstruct. Look at all of these young pieces that we had on offense and defense. That next component is the quarterback. And again, this is not beating up Ben Roethlisberger. It's just stating the facts, guys. And I know people are going to say, yeah, but what about Tom Brady? Come on, man. So that's the same comparison. Like, there's always one, you know, like a Jordan. Those comparisons to me don't even exist. When you are comparing it to an anomaly, you know, what Tom Brady is doing doesn't happen. Like, that's why he's the only one that's done it for the most part. You understand what I'm saying? But that's where we at, folks. But like I said, it's going to test the Phantom. It's going to test it, and I'm going to be here watching every step of the way. All right, let's read some chats, man. Let's read some chats. What y'all got? Jordan Mid says, everything is catching up with us. It's just unfortunate. Facts. The Real Deal says, I stuck with the Lakers when we were terrible for 7 years. I'll be fine with the Steelers rebuilding. Facts. I agree with you. It's going to be hard, but hey, you know we got to go through it at some point, right? GDF says, the Steelers are still going to find a way to stress me out every week. Yeah, man. I feel you. Hey, Miss Debbie. I see that Debbie is in here. How you been, Debbie? Hope you're doing well. Let's see. LeBron James. Wow, you must be an extreme LeBron fan, huh? He says, Brian Kelly has been to 2 of the last 3 CF college football playoffs. 2012 went, we talking about college. I ain't getting into that. No disrespect to you, but that doesn't have relevance to what we're talking about tonight. Is the only reason why I'm not gonna read it. You know, like I said, no disrespect to you or anything. Nia Shell says, one thing I trust from the Steelers is they'll find a franchise quarterback and utilize his skill set. But until then, it's going to be growing pains. It's just the Steelers' turn to rebuild. That is a fact. Jesse Joy says, Najee is a lotto stud. Yeah, he is. Laugh out loud. Couple good things from him. Any type of blocking and he'll be offensive rookie of the year. Yeah, man, if we can just spring him a few times. And again, Najee. I'm about to start these office visits. I think I'm going to do them separately. I got to call you in the office about that catching. Come on. Even though you caught 14 of them. I just didn't like them give me drops. Who else got something? Come on. Relevance to the night or relevance to the team. Those comments are the ones that I'll read. I'll be here a little bit longer. Mr. Ab says, all three teams in our division have first-round quarterbacks. Fans need to understand we'll have to make that decision one day. That is also a fact. Andre Romero says, O-line is still trash. Still can't run the ball, throwing the ball way too much. We still can't run the ball as of yet. We are throwing the ball too much. But again, you know, I'll let everybody have their opinion as far as what they think the offensive line is and isn't. You know, again, I'm just not making the call quite yet. I'll see. I'll see a little bit later down the road how I really feel about them. Knight Rider says they will run the wheels off of him while we got all them running backs and a fullback and we never use them. I don't know. I really don't know, man. I really don't know. And I will say this too to Matt Canada. Some of those times I noticed, man, we tried to run a lot out of heavy, and the Bengals were loading the box. Like, spread them out. You got to find a way to take advantage of the weak box. Remember that one play, I think it was in the second half when Najee, it was in shotgun, and I remember turning to Leonard and saying, box is light, run the football. He picked up about 13 on it. You're going to have to run against the box count. Is it going to always work? No. But come on, man. We can't just line up like that and try to run against that type of front. I don't know. Sippy Boy says, I think Ben is also struggling with the playbook. I know he can't see every open receiver, but he hesitates and missed seeing a lot of open guys. Yeah. Somebody text me too, and if you call yourself out here in the chat, I can't remember who it was. Somebody sent me a tweet and saying they were at the game and they were saying, man, it's Ben is looking really bad. Marlon Nicholson says Ebron shouldn't be shown the front door. He should be shown the curb. Yeah, y'all a trip, man. Cody says it's kind of sad how I can predict our offense by sitting on the couch from home. Yeah, and again, Matt Canada's judgment is gonna come post Ben Roethlisberger. Reason why I'm saying that, and I'm not letting him off the hook, but the reason why I'm saying that is, again, remember what he said himself before the season. I will call the plays that Ben Roethlisberger is comfortable with. So if you're going to say that, when we see an offense that's not being led by Ben Roethlisberger, that's when I'm really going to start judging Matt Canada. Marcus Jones says, Sim, where's the guy with the bathwater? Tell him not to drink it. Yeah, man. Let me read a few more. Football Mind says, I think Ballage needs some carries. Don't think we need to run Najee in the ground too early. I agree with that. Especially if we're going to feature him that much in the pass game, we need to limit his hits. Oh, here's one of those Coward Tomlin comparisons. I'm just going to read it. He says, Marlon says, Coward didn't have Big Ben like Tomlin had his whole career. Coward only had him his last 3 seasons and went 15-1, won the Super Bowl, and went 8-8 his last year. Okay. So a lot of people seem to, y'all seem to think everything falls on the head coach. I don't know. I don't know. Like I said, I let everybody have their opinion. Like I said, I've learned to just pull back on that because it's like a debate. You can't win a disagreement. A disagreement is a disagreement. So, and I'm not saying I disagree. I just feel like we all as fans are gonna have our favorite players, our favorite coaches, and all that. So, who am I to try to challenge it? But it's, again, I see people, saying Cowher was better and all that. I mean, I don't know. And you try to use one player to justify. I don't know. It just, I don't know. Like I said, I stay out of that comment. I stay out of that discussion. I love them both. But there is absolutely zero proof that we win more games and win more Super Bowls if Cowher was there with Ben longer. There's no proof of that. So it's like, what is the point of debating on speculation? Yeah, Dallas, that's a good point. He says Pierre on Chase with no safety help. Pierre is not that fast. I definitely want to go back and see what that play call was. That is a good point. And like I said, it looked like he had good coverage, man, for a moment. But yeah, very interesting. Very interesting. Yeah, that's what I said, C. Brown. It's no proof, and again, it's cool, guys, as a fan base too. But what I would say is this: you don't have to follow my lead, but listen, y'all come listen to me for a reason, right? Don't make up comparisons to try to make you feel better about the state of the team, if that makes sense, right? Like, people can have an opinion. People can say Tomlin is better. People can say Cowher is better. But at the end of the day, it really doesn't matter. It doesn't make me feel any better. Me speculating doesn't make me feel better if Cowher was the one coaching. None of that matters. So I just feel like, what's the point in having those debates? I mean, because when people say that, it's always what he didn't have Ben. I mean, come on, man. I mean, I don't know. I just don't know how you quantify it. Does that mean a whole lot? Sure. But even when we won the Super Bowls with Ben, it wasn't like Ben was airing it out 100 times. Our defenses was what really won us these games, right? Even in the Tomlin era, the one that he did win, the one he got us to, our defense was number one overall for quite a few years. So we can't sit here and say that like Ben Roethlisberger was the reason why we won those games all the time. And that's what I'm saying. And I love Ben, but we use him as the crutch to say, well, if he had him, then this would. There ain't no proof of that. There's just no proof of it. So if that's what people want to do to make them feel better, I mean, fine. I don't get it. I mean, what difference does it make now? Football Mind says, I'm Tomlin fan, so I'm just saying this as a critique, but we missed about 7 or 8 years of a Super Bowl opportunity when the Patriots were the only true contender in the AFC. We laid eggs with the killer bees. We did. Our defenses were not good then. Plain and simple. Plain and simple. Plain and simple. But like I said, I'm not defending either. I love Bill Cowher. I love Mike Tomlin. That's why you never hear me try to compare those guys. They were both great Steeler coaches. Yes, I said it. I think Tomlin is a great coach, has been. I think Bill Cowher was a great coach. Did either one of them have warts? Sure they did. All coaches do. I mean, hey, Bill Cowher lost a lot of important games. So, he's still my guy. The jaw, the chin. It's my dude. So I just personally don't, it doesn't do me any good as a fan to reflect on the past like that. Like, who cares? Let's see what are we going to do going forward. Like I said, when the day comes that Tomlin is no longer the coach, then let's talk about that guy. You know what I mean? But I don't know. I'll let y'all do that. Like I said. All right, a couple more, man, then I'm out of here. Jesse George says, when TJ and Highsmith come back, that defense will shut down about any team. They will rebound, but I don't know if we'll be tough enough to make a legit run. We'll see. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, we'll see. We'll see. I don't know. I mean, I'm not totally down on the defense either, because you have to take in consideration some other stuff, man, like the amount of time that they're on the field and stuff like that. But clearly today the pass rush was not the same. It's going to be very tough going into Green Bay. Man, I'm definitely going to check out Aaron Rodgers, see how he looks today and all of that. But Aaron Rodgers is going to be Aaron Rodgers. It's going to be tough to go in there and beat them. So we definitely got a hole that we got to climb out of, man. And like I said, if we are unable to run the football, it's just going to be a tough situation. Sippy Boy says, no one brings up the fact that we had to rebuild the entire defense and O-line when Cowher left because he didn't do a good job in bringing. Okay, you say he didn't do a good job in bringing young players to replace the vets. Okay. And that's what I'm saying, man. There's arguments on both sides like that. That's why I just don't get why we do that. I really don't. Yeah. I really don't. But all right, I'm going to get out of here, man. I think that's it for me. I'm going to get out of here. Didn't intend for it to be this long, man, but I think maybe it was worthy of it, with us playing the way we did. We'll talk more on Tuesday, guys, and we'll see where we at. Let's reassess everything, and like I said, we'll see where we at. We are 1-2 right now, and it still is not looking like a great football team. Point blank, period. But all right, man, I wish you guys well. Continue to watch some football. Let's watch our opponents. We'll come back Tuesday after I've had a chance to watch the game again and reassess. And then we'll look forward to the Packers. So other than that, guys, everyone stay safe. God bless. Good night. And hey, like always, gotta remind you, if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to the channel. When you subscribe, click on your notifications. And if you like what you saw in today's video, thumbs up. If you did not like it, thumbs down. Either way, doesn't matter to me. But all right, man, you guys take care. Be easy. And thank you for tuning in to the Terrible Towel post-game show. Peace.